Happy Monday, everyone. Time for another live commentary. Now, my last two videos featured Fanny Kreiss of Hungary and Erika Cipressa of Italy, and I was looking at more of their bouts, and I actually found this one from the Tauber World Cup last month, where they fenced each other in the round of 16. So why not tackle this video next? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. So we've got Fanny Kreiss of Hungary on the left, and we've got Erika Cipressa of Italy on the right. Yes, that Cipressa, same family. Andrea Cipressa is her father. Now, as you may remember from those previous two videos, and I would recommend watching them to get an idea of how they fence, both fenced Americans in the videos of theirs that I commentated. Cipressa against Lee Kiefer and Kreiss against Nicole Ross. Both lost, unfortunately, but both made a pretty close show of it. Erika Cipressa really had a solid counterattack, very good point control at close distance, and a pretty fast withheld attack. Kreiss, as we may remember, likes a lot of kind of patient, slow marching. She's got a very deceptively long lunge, but she likes to keep the bout pretty slow. I can't really predict that much based on the single bouts that I've seen from both of them, but from what I know of them, I have a feeling that Cipressa is probably going to want to push the tempo a bit faster, kind of like Ross did against Kreiss. Kreiss is probably going to want to keep things well in her comfort zone, in her wheelhouse. And if she can force the bout to progress slowly, I think Cipressa might have trouble landing those counterattacks. They kind of rely on her opponent rushing to make them work. So we shall see, as both fencers get ready on the strip. Really excited to see how this turns out. Alright, there's the test. Everything looks good. And here we go. Kreiss, interestingly, likes to step backward off the line. I'm not really sure if that's just intended to prevent actions right away, or if she has a plan for it, or maybe it's just a thing she does. Anyway, okay. Not sure who had the right of way there. Kreiss did find the blade in close, and I guess the referee called halt before that touch went through for Cipressa. Interestingly, that Kreiss wanted to go for a lunge when Cipressa seemed to be the one advancing. Here's that typical march from Kreiss. Cipressa turns around, though. Again, not too much commitment. This is probably something that Kreiss likes. As we saw in the first bit of her bout with Ross, she was pretty passive and just waiting for opportunities. There's that attack by Cipressa. Misses the first one. Her remise goes through, though. Kreiss's distance control maybe could have been a bit better. She did hang around a little closer than I think she wanted to there. A little bit more easy pressure by Kreiss. Cipressa takes the blade, but still gives it up. There, Cipressa takes the blade, again with a pretty telegraphed step in. Kreiss does get a light, but Cipressa finds an off-target with her attack. Again, more of this kind of relaxed, bouncy marching by Kreiss, and a little bit more sincere march by Cipressa. Very long lunge by Kreiss, but misses. She thinks she may have hit the strip off the side, I guess? I don't know. More marching by Cipressa, gives it up. More bouncing forward by Kreiss. Again, gives it up. There's some acceleration. Oh, okay. So Kreiss does have the height advantage, and she was probably trying to leverage that with a running away remise, but Cipressa was sharp enough to catch her. Cipressa does have very good acceleration on that attack. It can be very easy to just finish a little bit too long and have trouble getting away afterwards, as we see there. Kreiss again accelerates. This time Cipressa backs away and parries. Different response. It's good, changing things up. Again, another lunge by Kreiss. Tries second intention afterwards. Maybe that wasn't planned. And Cipressa asks for a halt. Not sure why. That might be a card. If she keeps doing that. That's a little bit suspect. But anyway, we saw a little bit of tactical variation by both. Kreiss turned that long lunge into a... Attempted... Oh, again, misses the first one. I don't know how she didn't find that. And then the remise is no as well. Cipressa goes off target. So when Kreiss misses or falls short with that long attack, it looks like she's in quite a bit of trouble. Not that time, though, as she did find the first one. It looked like Cipressa was trying for the blade, but got caught on Kreiss's guard. So that attack by Kreiss could be very dangerous if Cipressa lets herself get hit on the first one. If she can make Kreiss miss the first one, then she's almost guaranteed to find a response. Except that case, though. Kreiss is much better getting away. Okay, tangles up the blade. This infighting, I would say, would probably lean towards Cipressa, just because we've seen great point control from her in close against Lee Kiefer. Again, if she does find that situation, my guess is it would be that Kreiss simply wasn't getting away fast enough or soon enough. As that long lunge does kind of leave her out to dry a bit. Although the last couple exchanges she was getting away much quicker and faster. At the expense maybe of a little bit of reach with her initial lunge. On the other hand, if she's looking for second intention, she doesn't need that much reach on her lunge to begin with. But this is a pretty common progression that we see in foil especially. It's start out with some direct attacks, and then you switch it up with second intention as those direct attacks get figured out by your opponent. So this is all pretty much what we expect to see at this level of fencing. Not sure what Cipressa's waiting for. Oh. There wasn't a touch, so they start where they were. Makes sense. Again, pretty far away distance here to start the phrase again. Again, we're bouncing. Probably see another long acceleration by Kreiss, but misses the first one, and as we expect at this point, once Kreiss misses, it's always going to be Cipressa's. And that counterattack, once again, paying dividends for Cipressa early in this bout. With only a minute left in the first period. Kreiss keeps marching. Again, she's looking for the time to make that long acceleration. And at this point, I think Cipressa's almost better off letting her, so she can try for that counterattack or parry post. Turns things around. Kreiss... Oh, okay. Very good distance by Kreiss, but misses the riposte. Kreiss's point control is really not panning out for her. It's unfortunate. She would be doing really well if she just landed all of these attacks and that last riposte. She would have this bout unlocked pretty much. Cipressa manages to break inside distance, though, and gets another touch. This is kind of in danger of spiraling out of control at this point. Kreiss just needs to dial in her point control a little better. Oh, Kreiss very smartly gives that one up. There's a nice touch by Kreiss. Beautiful. She needed that one, honestly. But she's proven that she can still hit with that attack and still be accurate at that distance. So Cipressa might be tempted to change things up now. In her bout with Kiefer, she did kind of rely a bit too much on that counterattack, I would say. Even when Lee started to figure it out, she still did it for a bit longer than she could have. Again, some more back and forth. Only a few seconds left. I'm not sure if either fencer will go for anything at this little time. Yep. And 2-4. Pretty... honestly, I'd say from both what we expect, with the exception of Kreiss's point control and blade work not really being at the level that we saw in her previous bout with Russ. Oh, excuse the voice crack. That's something in my... the joy of doing this live. Yeah, so Cipressa made that counterattack work. She also could probably make a similar action work with a parry or post, just waiting for Kreiss to miss or fall short, or baiting her into finishing longer than she wants to, and then a parry or post is very easy to land because Kreiss has trouble running away. That said, Kreiss has been adjusting her footwork a little bit to just be a little bit sharper about running away, so I'd say the tactical situation is still fairly even. It's just Kreiss's point control. We haven't seen that much of Cipressa hitting with her long attack. I think she did once, and because it's super fast and super withheld, Kreiss, I think, waited a little bit too long trying to look for the blade, instead of just running away from it right off the bat. But that's also a very easy adjustment to make, and I see no reason why she can't. So, here we go again. 2-4. Second period. I will say that Kreiss's bouts tend to, at least the few that I've seen, the previous one and now this one as well, Kreiss tends to keep things fairly low score, whether she's up or down. That seems to be a pretty common trend with her. Mostly because she just doesn't overcommit to any of these actions when she doesn't want to, which is an admirable quality. Although if you're down, it's a little bit less good. Cipressa thinks about stepping in again. Distance is a little closer than it was before, and that lets Cipressa come through. Yep. Kreiss's blade work. This time it was a little bit late with her parry or post attempt. So, something's up with Kreiss's arm, I think. It's not quite where it should be. Kreiss marches. Doesn't finish all the way, and Cipressa catches her. That was just Kreiss not really respecting the distance and running away as far as she could have. I mean, true, you don't want to give up that much space on the strip, but you have the entire strip behind you at that point. Kreiss keeps marching. Cipressa's getting away from this now. Maybe she's trying to bait Kreiss into finishing longer and getting her vulnerable to that counterattack again. Not that time, though. Kreiss almost turns it into a flush at the very end to catch Cipressa as she backs away, nearly out of space. But that's, I think, a cool idea from Kreiss, actually. If you push Cipressa all the way to the end, then you can afford to hit with a shorter lunge. Ooh, what's that going to be? Probably left, right? Can't see how not. Kreiss didn't really stop there, as I remember. Cipressa asks for a video review. The referee says, I'm looking at it myself. Oh, it's Cipressa's. Interesting. Okay. It's not great for Kreiss. Maybe actions off the line aren't really the best idea for her. Keeps marching. Oh, Cipressa scared her with that by just stopping. Kreiss got nervous, wasn't ready to finish. Cipressa's able to turn that around. That's a super nice move. Especially with someone like Kreiss, who's, I wouldn't say timid, but definitely a little bit more passive when she marches. Can be vulnerable to that. And Cipressa just overpowers her with that. Again, Kreiss could be making another retreat there, though. I don't know why she's not. Her point control was, or her like fast parry post was kind of enough to hold her own against Ross's attack, but Cipressa's feels a little bit faster than that. Oh, that would have been beautiful. Kreiss had the right line too, but she flicked a little bit too long. A little bit too deep with that flick. Missed the LeMay. But she's gotta respect Cipressa's attack now. Oh, double advance, short lunge. Would have been a nice idea, but Cipressa has it. This is quickly... Cipressa's running away with this bout now. I feel like Kreiss is kind of crumbling. Yeah, that... You could see there, Kreiss just stood still and searched. That is not going to work against Cipressa's attack. It's too fast and too withheld. She's got to respect that distance. Longer acceleration. Gets away? Nope. Cipressa can still catch her. Honestly, Kreiss, I know you can't hear me, but just like book it out of there as soon as your first one falls short. Widen the distance a lot more, put out point of line or something, and go from there. Okay, both stopped. Kreiss thought that... I could probably see that going for Kreiss. She certainly needs the touch, and down 11-3, even if it's a little bit questionable, I'd say definitely go for the video review there. If nothing else, to stall the bout out, and give yourself more time to think. Alright, Kreiss keeps pushing. Okay. Kreiss is going a little bit too withheld and too fast now, though. And again, as we see with her fencing a lot, when she goes too fast, she tends to sacrifice quite a bit of technique to do so. And, yeah. That is unfortunate for her. This may be a very lackluster bout compared to both of the previous two of theirs. Yeah. Kreiss just can't get away from Cipressa's fast attacks. There's not much more to it. She's just got to run away faster and farther. That standstill and parry just is not cutting it. Kreiss, this is... this is painful to watch. That said, if you're under this much mental pressure, even the simple solution like that can be kind of... Oh, she stepped off the strip, but the referee didn't see it. Okay, so Kreiss is trying to slow things down and finish shorter, which is good for her, but Cipressa is still managing to get one light every single time. It's just not enough. Okay. Oh! Counterattack. I was kind of wondering if she was going to try that. We didn't really see that as part of her toolkit against Ross, but against Cipressa, that crushing counterattack and with a twist is going to be super useful because she goes so fast and withheld. Cipressa uses that point of line setup. Kreiss takes it, finds a way through, but goes off target. That's better for her, though. Okay. Ooh, Kreiss staying in distance. That's bad. Finds her knees off target. Okay. It's super risky to stay close like that. Oh, but she finds it. That time. Again, with a bit of a cross step towards the end there. Cipressa tried a kind of lackluster counterattack, not really crushing the distance, just standing still and kind of like spreading herself out. But it is a touch for Kreiss. Kreiss might be able to find a way back in. There's still plenty of time in the bout left. The comeback here would be insane. Oh, that's dangerous, though. She's got to get away after that first lunge falls short, I feel. Oh, yep, that's it. Again, staying in distance, trying to make a big sweeping parry and hit. Cipressa just finds a way through with her point control. Oh, wait. What is this? Is that a red card? Hold on. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and watch that again, because I didn't see that, whatever it was. Was that potentially, if it's a red card, that might have been use of the backhand? I don't know. Kreiss keeps pushing. Finishes short. This is much better for Kreiss now. Those pretty short steps into a nice short finish right in distance. Cipressa can't really crush there. She just runs into Kreiss's point. Okay, this is better. Attacks off the line, though, haven't worked for Kreiss before. She really needs to be careful here. Okay, that's better. Cipressa wasn't chasing, but she is now. And Kreiss, again, can't escape from that long attack. 7-15. Wow. Not gonna lie, I was expecting that to be a lot closer. But once Cipressa pulled out her withheld kind of trampoline attack, Kreiss just crumbled. And really, I think the solution there was, like, it's obvious to someone watching this bout from an outside perspective. If you're Kreiss, though, and you're just getting trampled and trampled and trampled, I can totally get how she's, like, struggling to come up with something that works in that situation. And to be fair, she did change things up throughout that, and eventually found some actions that worked better, especially on offense. But at the end of the day, it's just not enough. And that's going to end this bout, 7-15. Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, until next time, stay sharp.